He's an 8-time Louisiana Association of Broadcasters Award winner. And he snapped a ball through his legs.
Wait, why does your name get to go first?
Shut up.
This is Scone T.
Because they made us.
All right, what's up, good peeps? Welcome in to another edition of Scone T.
What's up, y'all? What's going on? What's up, everybody on YouTube? Hit the like button, share it, everything else. Chill night tonight. Looks like everybody feeling a little Cinco de Mayo, a little hangover.
Yeah.
On this Wednesday.
A little Cinco de Mayo last week. It was May the 4th.
Yep.
Can we take my headphones down a smidge, please?
Mine as
headphones
well,
down?
just
Headphones
a
down?
tiny
Headphones
little
down?
bit. Now that we got these new mics that are actually
good.
competent.
Perfect. That's great. Thank you.
Change the levels.
Yeah, perfect. Great stuff. Thank you, Muse. Just doing a great job over there. We appreciate you. Well, you're the best. Thanks, Muse. All right, we're here at Oliver Twist. We, of course, love coming to Oliver Twist. Great spot, great food, cocktails, craft beer, all the good stuff. Great spot for lunch.
Yeah.
Make this part of your daily or your weekly routine. We're glad to have you all aboard with us.
That menu for Star Wars last week, I'm still thinking about now, I don't know, maybe they'll bring it back for something else, but the Nashville hot oysters.
Oh.
So, they were like fried oysters,
Yes.
but dipped in Nashville, like you dip a Nashville hot chicken in or whatever. When they put that on French bread and they served it with gumbo.
Remember,
it
had like the spicy pickle.
Yeah, and
as
it had
well.
the pickle on top
It was
too,
a toothpick through the oyster with a spicy pickle. It was so good.
That hot oyster juice seeping into that French bread and then being dipped in that gumbo. Oh my God,
it was phenomenal.
That was next level. What up, Cajun Crunch, Raymond, Brennan Huff, Lars, Caleb, Dustin B, everybody else? Hit the like button, like I said.
Great news today as we're live here on this Wednesday, May the 10th. If you're watching or listening on demand, thank you. But Foster Moreau is a New Orleans Saint. That's official. We were here doing the show.
Into that yet.
You remember we were here doing the show the day we found out about the diagnosis. It was a Wednesday we were doing Scone T. So I said it this way, man. New Orleans guy, went to Jesuit, was like literally the last guy to have a scholarship in his signing class at LSU, if you remember. Like, it was, are we going to have a spot? Not. So he was like the last guy in the class. Becomes a starter, obviously. Wears the 18 jersey. Becomes a fourth-round pick. 1 year in Oakland, 3 years in Las Vegas with the Raiders. Hits free agency. Has a bunch of suitors. Is being courted by the hometown team. Gets the cancer diagnosis, which is just devastating. But the great news is it looks like prognosis is very good. Good enough to where the Saints were confident to sign him, giving an $8 million guaranteed in the deal. And on the field, for the Saints' perspective, they had to add a tight end. And I don't know if you looked. Did you look at the free agent tight end, like the free agent tight ends that are still available?
No, I've not.
Hold on. You got to look at this list, dude. Hang on. Like, this puts into perspective how essential. Like, I'm not even going to read them to you. I'm going to let you read them. The free agent tight ends that are still available.
What are you talking about? Dan Arnold's not up there. Cameron Brate, who post Tom Brady was Cameron Brate. Jeff Swain, Mercedes Lewis.
38-year-old Mercedes Lewis.
Yeah. Wow, 30 years old now. Jeez. Ryan Griffin. Hell yeah, dude. Shit. Kyle Rudolph, bro.
Who just face planted in Tampa this year.
Michael Pruitt.
Do you know Anthony Ferkser?
Yeah. Him and Tommy Sweeney.
Bro, look at these names.
Hey, fucking Werdermeyer. Fuck him. I'd sign him and cut him.
Jalen Weidermeyer, the kid from Texas A&M.
Yes.
Mitchell Wilcox, Damian Caffery.
Weidermeyer caught one of the big touchdowns in that 7-OT game, right?
I think his deal was the fumble, wasn't it?
Maybe so. Maybe that was Weidermeyer. Yeah. I think that was actually.
Anyway, but yes, he was part of that. He was definitely part of that. Well, in a 7 overtime game, everybody was part of it to some degree. But my point is, dude, the free agent tight end crop that's available is terrible. I mean, your only option would have been trade for a tight end, or pray that one of the undrafted free agents that you've signed each of the last 2 years, Miller, Forrestall, or Lucas Kroll, like one of those guys becomes a guy.
So I haven't looked into what they're saying about the signing yet. Is there an expectation of playing this season?
So I haven't seen that. Yes, this season, yes.
Wow.
At what point this season, don't know. But whenever Foster gave the interview to Michael Strahan on Good Morning America, the sort of time frame that he gave seemed like optimistically you could have been looking at like October, so maybe missing like the first month of the season. And then getting back and sort of working back toward being in. So, I mean, I think there's a certainly it's realistic he'll play this year. How much time of the season he'll miss, I don't know. But, dude, your tight ends right now are a converted receiver and a converted quarterback and 3 undrafted dudes. Like, you had to fortify this spot. So, this isn't just like a homer take sign the LSU guy. He's quite literally the most accomplished, best fit for what you're looking for. So, I'm pumped about it, man. I'm happy for Foster, like I think we all are. But no, it's from a Saints perspective, I'm excited as well.
It's a perfect fit, absolutely. I mean, I mean, now like between him and Juwan Johnson, you now have your Y, your more blocky guy, and Foster, who also, I mean, that's not to take away from what he can do receiving. He has a pre-existing relationship with Derek Carr that we know is a very successful and good one. And Juwan Johnson represents maybe the higher receiving upside. So, yeah, no, I mean, it was an exact need. It was a need that you didn't address in the draft, the only need.
All right.
Thank you, sir. This is a bacon old-fashioned.
Thank you, Wiggins.
And this is a Wiggins original.
Look at that piece of bacon.
It's got was that a little candy, a little maple or something on it? Was that
little candy bacon? Oh, yeah. How is it? Did you try it?
No, I just licked my fingers touching the bacon.
Okay, there it is. A candied bacon old-fashioned here at Oliver Twist.
I mean, that's great.
The cocktail menu
it's
back
delicious.
there is terrific. I would always recommend it. So check it out. If you are on Facebook, please like the 104.5 ESPN page and share this post. If you're on YouTube, smash that like button. If you're listening on demand, thanks as well. Subscribe up to the Scone T podcast on your favorite podcast app. Do you want to talk?
Okay, this is what I want to talk about.
Okay.
So mentioning Foster Moreau is kind of perfect.
Okay.
Perfect bridge here. Because that's where, for now, that's where the Saints conversation ends. It's literally a perfect fit. It makes all sense in the world. It's a happy ending. Now, let's just attack this thing, get the health right, and see where it goes from here. But it's appropriate that you mention Foster being the last member of the class, Matt. I don't know if
2016?
you read it. No, but he is, right? And then you have guys like Lloyd Cushenberry that very famously are, right? They've had a lot of, like Jacob Hester was his. There's been a lot of
Justin Jefferson.
Exactly. Okay, so the point of this is that you know how we always think about Iowa and these other schools doing the most with the least? A new athletic study has showed that it ain't actually Kirk Ferentz. It's arguably LSU that tends to develop lower-rated players at a way higher rate. Now, ironically, they tend to strike out on the 5 stars more than anyone. So I call this a Brody Miller banger.
Okay.
Which Brodies want to crank these things out very often, way more often than he should.
Justin Jefferson, literally the lowest-rated member of his class.
Yeah, no, I mean, him, Cushenberry, Fathers, like all of them. It's crazy, but
so good.
But okay, so here's the deal. Brody so the Athletic did a study where they looked at 11 years of data from 2009 to 2019, all the way through 2019, and they looked at, okay, what are all the star ratings and which schools are best at making 5 stars get drafted, 4 stars get drafted, 3 stars get drafted, right?
Okay.
LSU signed 21 5 stars recruits in those 11 classes. Only 10 got drafted. They were the only school to sign more than 20 and have less than 50% drafted. So, and there's weird stuff, right?
Do you remember the names?
There's like Craig Lawson, Ruben Randall, Terrence Tolliver, Kevin Tolliver,
Russell Shepard,
Ryan Perilou.
Okay.
The list,
oh wow,
the list. So
from what time span?
2009 to 2019.
Well, Perilou was before. Perilou was 05.
Then maybe Perilou wasn't in there, or maybe it might have been. I don't know the exact parameters of I don't know if it started with the 09 class or if it started with like the 09 rosters. Like I don't know that because I feel like I remember reading Perilou, so maybe it was roster.
Perilou got booted prior to the 08 season. Well, you know that you were.
Oh yeah, that's right. Yeah, duh. I don't know. Whatever. But the point is, then it wasn't him. Then it was all the other names that I mentioned more. But the point is, LSU only had 10 of the 21 get drafted. Only school that had more than 20, less 50%. So really struck out on 5 stars more than most people did. However, they were third
Anthony
best.
Johnson?
They were third best
Lyle.
in the country. And again, Lyle's like a weird situation, right? Probably the weirdest draft story of all time. But it doesn't matter. For one reason or another, it's like at a certain point, the numbers are what they are, and you only had 10 of the 21 guys.
Yeah.
But When it comes to 4 stars, you were 3rd best in the country, putting a pretty astounding 34% of your 4 stars in the NFL. And then when it came to 3 stars, you were 2nd best in the country, putting 20% of your 3 stars in the NFL. And if you combine 3 and 4, there is no better school in the country over those 11 years better at developing 3 and 4 stars and getting them drafted than LSU has been.
I have a theory.
Yeah.
So I have never put numbers to it like that, but I do have a theory. And I think it is.
Brody has a theory too, so I'm interested to see how y'all's line up.
Mine is pretty easy. It's the state of Louisiana. When you look at a guy who is a 3-star in Louisiana, sometimes you're overshadowed in the state by other great players.
Yep.
And sometimes you could be. Justin Jefferson's a great example of it, right? You're from the river parishes. Look, Destrehan is obviously a big school. We all know it very well, and it's produced some talent, right? It's produced Ed Reed and the river parishes, Hanville and Destrehan. I mean, they do produce good talent, but I think sometimes it's easy to get overlooked. But the level of competition you're going against every week at that level is such that in this state, you're going to have prospects that are really good players that get overlooked. I'll tell you right now, like there's one that floors me. There's a kid who's, and I'm saying admittedly because I'm familiar with it, I know it. There's a running back at Catholic. Kid's name is Barry Remo. Okay, now keep in mind, this kid is playing on a team with guys like Emory Jones and Shelton Sampson, and like they're just churning out these high caliber players that are going to major college, and you understand. This, I'm telling you, this dude can play running back at the major college level. Like his only offers right now are like Alcorn and maybe a service academy, and it's like it's bizarre. Like he's a little undersized, but there's no reason he couldn't go to Kentucky and be the best running back Kentucky's ever had. You know what I mean? Like a little hyperbole, but you know what I mean.
Yeah. You're saying he's just way undervalued.
But I think that happens a lot in this state because the state just breeds great football players, and you don't always necessarily meet the measurables, right, that they're going to look for in certain star rating formulas. But you know how to play football. You're well coached. You played against a high level of competition in the state week in and week out, et cetera, et cetera. And I think that. So anyway, that's a long way of saying Louisiana is the reason. I would be willing to bet, I don't know this, if you go through and look at the number of 3 stars, Foster Moreau.
Yeah.
You go look at the number of 3 stars on that list that they're referring to, I would bet you an overwhelming number of them are from Louisiana.
So I think that's all very interesting because essentially, in a lot of ways, you and Brody landed in the same spot, right? This is a state that per capita produces the 2nd most players in the NFL. And there's no other flagship, right? So you're not competing with anyone for the entirety of the crew. So anybody who is any good is going to go to your school, and it's been proven over a very long period of time that the people from this state are really good at ending up making it to the NFL. So I agree with you. A lot of that success comes from being in Louisiana, being the only flagship, and just the natural talent-rich resource that we have. Where it gets interesting is Brody talks about, though, basically how, some of that inconsistency at the top, and kind of nailing these 5 stars, and inconsistency at developing linemen specifically, both offensive and defensive, that is the reason why you can still go like 15-0 one year and then 5-5 the next, right? Or you go from winning the national championship in 2007 to 8-5, 3-5 in the SEC the next year, right? And so I guess the theory behind it, or not the theory, but if you think about the Brian Kelly era, where it becomes exciting for LSU fans is, does he not seem perfectly suited to solving those problems? Like we talked about it a couple weeks ago, he's still recruiting Louisiana. So he'll still be getting those 3 stars, still be getting those players that have developed to go to the NFL. Where does he produce a lot of NFL players? On the offensive line, right? Okay, so you can see that number potentially going up. And then in terms of what are we looking for? More consistency, right? Brian Kelly is nothing if not consistent. That's kind of like the core ethos of his entire philosophy, right? So the idea is if he can kind of reduce the variance in LSU, maybe hit on those 5 stars more, and strengthen your traditionally weak positions like offensive line, but now he has to keep up cornerback and everything, right? In a post-Corey Raymond era, which we will see. But if he can do that, then maybe you could see LSU reach its full potential. The only thing that worries me, Matt, is that, do you know who the number one state in the country is at producing NFL players per capita?
Georgia.
And yet, how much bigger is the population of Georgia?
It's massively bigger than Louisiana.
Exactly. And so if they're ahead of you in a per capita sense,
that makes sense.
And they have massive population.
Isn't Georgia the third largest state in the country?
That's my point. What I'm saying
by
is,
landmass, it's Alaska and
I don't know my population.
I think population Georgia's third.
But you see my point, though. You see my point. Per capita, with that giant population, they're already number one.
Yeah, we'll say Texas and California and Florida.
So what happens then So what happens? But because they too.
California, Texas, Florida.
But the point is that they have way more talent in the state. And
Georgia's 8th, excuse me. California, Texas, Florida, New York, Pennsylvania, Illinois, Ohio, Georgia. But to your point, like New York, Pennsylvania, Illinois aren't churning out talent. Ohio is, Georgia is. But yes, anyway, go ahead. Sorry.
It's ridiculous for a state with nearly 11 million people to lead in per capita NFL players. Like, how many people does Louisiana have? 4.5 million. So they're above you per capita, and they have double the amount of people. So they have significantly more talent in their state. And guess what? Who is Georgia recruiting against? Like, we always talk about LSU having no recruiting rival. There's no recruiting rival in Georgia. Now, everybody's going into Georgia, but there is no in-state rival. Nobody is growing up wanting to go play for the Rambling Wreck.
There are three programs in the country. Like I've said this forever. There are 3 programs in the country that are the only Power 5 in a talent-rich state. It's LSU, Georgia, and Ohio State. With respect to Georgia Tech, they're not playing the same game. It's a private school. It's not the same thing. And Ohio State is the other. And look, Ohio is the 7th largest state by population. It's the only Power 5, and Ohio is a talent-rich state. I don't know what the per capita NFL players are, but I wouldn't even look at NFL. I would just look at our Division I, how many Division I players you put through. But that is why LSU, Ohio State, Georgia. It's why, honestly, Georgia's and LSU's long meandering history of mediocrity and losing is perplexing. Just recruit your state,
because they needed the right guy.
Recruit your state.
And Georgia would never economically invest. Under Kirby Smart, that's all changed. They're getting the benefits of conquest, right? Money is rolling in. They just built a brand new football ops. They're redoing the stadium. They built a brand new locker room as well as recruiting room in the stadium. They finally built an indoor.
They used to go practice at the Falcons facility.
Yeah.
Like when it would rain, they would go practice. Like, they did not have an indoor at Georgia. Mark Richt's the one that got that ball rolling. I think he donated like $1 million, $2 million or something like that to help fund the indoor.
I think he got fired though before it was done because I think it coincided with Kirby getting there. But I mean,
he did the same thing in Miami.
I was talking to Aaron on Snaps today, and Aaron said when it would rain, all he could throw were hitches. Because they had like 30 yards of an indoor to work with.
It was just like a 30.
And he's like, one spring or one summer, we had like 12 rain days in a row, and I just can't practice. It was ridiculous. So think about that. But now, that's where I get a bit worried, Matt, because that's who LSU has to overcome. And I think LSU is better positioned with Brian Kelly than they have ever been, maybe save for Nick Saban, to take advantage of everything that we just talked about. But unfortunately, it feels a bit like Georgia is LSU, only more so.
So I agree. I do agree with that. The thing I'll tell you that makes me less concerned, and Georgia's inherent advantage right now also is that they're in the SEC East. Like, if you looked at their schedule this year,
that's about to go away, though.
It's
a complete joke. I hate their schedule this year. It's absolutely pathetic, but I think it's actually going to hold them back from winning a championship, but whatever.
Maybe, but the fact that the league's going to expand and the schedule format's going to change, you're going to drop divisions, I'm with you, but also going to the 12-team playoff it's going to open the door for more teams to possibly win it and make it harder for teams like Georgia or anyone, quite honestly, because you're going to have to play good teams 3 or 4 times now throughout a postseason if you consider a championship game, a quarter, semi, and then a final. Like, it's just going to be tougher. Like, it's going to be tougher to make it through. It's quite honestly why I'm so confident saying Nick Saban's the greatest coach ever. And I mean, I know he's got the number of championships now over Bear Bryant, but it's like, even before, the fact that he's won in so many, like, in an evolving era of the game, of the rules, the transfer portal, NIL, like, he just, now the college football playoff, like, it's never been harder. I mean, Bear Bryant won a championship with like 3 losses because they fucking voted him. You know, it's like, you know what I mean? It's not saying he's not a great coach. It's just different. Like, it's never been harder to win, and he's dominated at this level. So,
but I mean, it is scary what Kirby has built there, and it's I mean, it just doesn't show. It's whatever. I don't want to just rehash everything I've talked about today, but I did mention on Snaps how, you know me, I love like Roman history and stuff, and I love just how sometimes college football, and especially coaches, kind of parallel these old Roman politician generals, right, where they were really kind of the rulers of the kingdom, even if they weren't in title. And look at what Nick Saban in Tuscaloosa did. Like when he showed up, it was kind of a backwater town, essentially. You know, normal college town, whatever. Easiest school to get into out of state in the SEC. And look at it now, 15 years later. It has flourished. Economic development, jobs, buildings everywhere, statues, temples. Like he literally has gone out, conquered these other peoples, and brought the booty back home with him. And that's exactly what Georgia is doing right now. And the problem there is Athens was already fucking way cooler than Tuscaloosa.
Yeah.
Or than Baton Rouge even. Like, well, maybe not Baton Rouge. Baton Rouge is capital city, so whatever. But the point is,
but
like,
Athens is a cool college town.
Athens is cool as hell. Always has been. And now they have the buy, and they have the investment, and they have their general, their Caesar, their Pompey, their fucking Kirby Smart. And so I cannot wait for the clashes of Brian Kelly and Kirby Smart. I mean, we already got a way earlier edition than we thought we would. And if you look at this season, it kind of feels like we should get one again. Like, I think that LSU should win the West, and I think that Georgia's obviously going to win the East.
Your boy Bilbo mentioned, he said,
Go Panthers.
He said South Carolina oddly has talented dudes. That's not true, but at times they don't regularly churn out big talent, but it's weird that when they've hit high points, it's been like...
We've had a couple number one
boys
recently.
It's been like Jadeveon Clowney.
Birch was huge
Jordan
back in the day.
Birch. Marshawn Lattimore. I'm sorry, Marcus Lattimore.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Stephon Gilmore. It's weird, like when they've hit, it's been super elite, but they don't have consistency of that. And he said Tennessee's also a rich state and cannot keep guys in state. That's completely false. Tennessee is not a talent-rich state. Like, it's like if you go look at Philip Fulmer's years where they were winning, he was winning with guys from Florida and Louisiana and California.
Georgia.
Like, you have got to recruit nationally at Tennessee. It's one of the disadvantages at Tennessee is there isn't talent in the state of Tennessee. Like, you got to get on a plane to go see dudes. It's like there isn't. I mean, you have the per capita list. I mean, I'll look it up.
No, I don't have it. I was looking up the Panthers score. Shit! We're losing 1-0, man. Sorry, y'all. It's kind of quiet in here today. I just yelled shit, and everybody looked at me like I was crazy.
No, you're good, bro.
Yeah, Bilbo, come out to Oliver Twist. Wiggins has a gift card with your name on it, okay? Look, I mean, that's enough about football. I thought that Brody just got my mind spinning.
This is 2017 per
capita. Go support
capita.
Brody Miller. Sign up for The Athletic. He's awesome.
This was 2013 to 2017, so it's a little dated. But again, D.C., Louisiana, Georgia, Mississippi, Alabama, Florida, Texas, Hawaii, Ohio, Virginia, then Tennessee.
Yeah.
Like, it's not – I mean, it's not Alaska, but, I mean, you've got Louisiana, Georgia, Mississippi, Bama, Florida, now Texas. That's 6 SEC states with 8 schools ahead of them. So they're bottom third of the league. You know, before the expansion, they're bottom third of the league as far as per capita talent. So, anyway.
I mean, I agree.
I'm not trying to pick that fight. It's just like, but that's like, that is a problem. Like, Tennessee isn't a.
The bottom line is, I guess what I'm saying is, I'm simultaneously more excited than ever about the Brian Kelly era, and I thought those were kind of fascinating numbers, and I'm also terrified of Georgia probably more than ever as well.
The weird thing about Louisiana, and then we'll move on.
What is this? That's a hot oyster po' boy?
Oh, you just made T-Bob's night.
Bite. Hell yeah.
And what is this? 23? Oh, my God. Golden apple? Oh, for sure. So we're going to open. Is it opened? Oh, we're going to open it tonight? All right, so Wiggins brought out that's the oyster po' boy? Oh, wow. It's the hot oyster deal?
Hot oyster po' boy.
Oh, wow.
Damn, that is good, dude.
That was magnificent last week. And then, so the whiskey he brought, now I'm not super into flavored whiskey, and this is Crown Royal Golden Apple, but it's 23-year juice.
Wait.
23 years.
They have a 23-year-old apple crown?
Well, I'm sure.
Why?
Well, I'm sure they flavored it after it aged 23 years.
Okay, even crazier.
Yeah, I know.
So they flavored 23-year-old crown?
Yeah, I don't know why they would do that. But we're going to try it, dude. It looks pretty sweet, dude. Like the presentation with the box. Look at that.
Fuck yeah, it's 23 years
awesome.
old, dude.
So, all right, you want to talk baseball?
Yeah, let's talk a little baseball.
George Nienstedt, Lyle Plochet,
By the way, get
Paul
your
Betts,
questions
Trey
in the chat.
Potan,
I am, I'm sorry to interrupt, man.
Aaron Hornsby. I'm just shouting
am
people out, just saying what's up.
I am copy and pasting all the questions in for our, our last 10, 15, whatever minutes.
Yep. Okay, LSU baseball, they lose their first weekend series of the year. Are you melting? You melting like everybody is?
Oh, no.
Oh, really?
No, why would I be melting?
Oh, they lost. They stink. They can't pitch. They walk everybody. They're awful.
No, look, I agree with Jay Johnson's assessment of the situation. Imagine that. Friday, they won a great game, just an excellent college baseball game. Who could not be excited about watching Thatcher fucking Hurd and what he did in that ninth inning? And then obviously Skeens was just pure magic. Every game Ackenhausen pitches, they win. And then Saturday, you lost a tough game, man, Like, I'm not saying there's not shit to get better on. There absolutely shit to get better on. And you wish that, I don't know. Do you think that Ty Floyd implodes without all the weirdness?
Floyd even said afterwards, he said it definitely affected him and needs to make sure it doesn't. But, here's the thing about that fourth inning. So it started off not so great, right? There was a hit and a walk, and then the balk. So you had second and third, nobody out. He comes back and gets a strikeout. So you get second and third with one out. And he got behind the next hitter and then got into two strikes. And you felt like, okay, he's about to strike this guy out as well.
Get 2 outs. On fire.
And then when he got to the second strike is when Butch Thompson came out of the dugout, and then you had what felt like a 5-minute delay.
Yep.
And it completely threw Floyd off his rhythm. He walked that guy, threw the wild pitch, the run scored, walked another guy, and was like, all right, he's done. It definitely affected him. He had kind of found a rhythm.
Okay, so I'm not overly concerned about Saturday then.
I think Ty Floyd over the last month has been a really good number 2. I think everybody is going to pale in comparison to Paul Skeens. The thing, man, I tweeted during the game on Saturday, am I watching Alex Lang or Ty Floyd?
He was deadly.
And the thing about So the thing that made Lang so good is, I don't know if you've watched, Lang's ERA is with the Tigers right now is 1.
What's he doing? Where are they using him?
He's their closer right now.
Okay.
He's going to fuck around and make an All-Star game this year. He's having a year like Will Harris did back in 2017 when he became an All-Star. He's got a ways to go, but I'm telling you, it's filthy what he's doing right now. Anyway, what made Lang so awesome at LSU was he could locate his breaking ball, right? So he could throw this hammer for a strike. And then if you're a hitter and you're watching the spin and here comes the breaking ball is coming, and he's shown you he can throw it for a strike, well, you got to swing.
Yeah.
But he could also bury it at 58 feet. And yet Papirski behind home plate is a fucking brick wall, so nothing was ever getting by him. So he could throw it with confidence 58 feet. You swing over it, you look like an idiot.
Yeah.
Well, then if you're sitting back waiting on the 83-mile-an-hour hammer, well, here comes 94 at the letters.
Yeah.
And then you're swinging late and you're behind and you're sitting your ass in the dugout.
And Floyd can't do it to that extent, but you're saying that's basically his skill set as well.
No, that's what he was doing on Saturday. Locating the breaking ball on both sides of the plate, getting guys to swing over the top of it and getting guys to miss the fastball with the run. It looked like I was watching Alex Lang again. And then he fell apart in the fourth, which sucked. But, it was... if that dude shows up for the rest of the year, I'll be like.
So it sounds like you're okay. So it sounds like you're in agreement then, though. That Friday's a great game, a great win. No. What I mean is Friday's a great game, a great win. Saturday, you had a bit of bad luck with the fourth inning situation, but at the end of the day, that's a tough fought road SEC game against a good team. The only game that is really frustrating is Sunday. And it's the exception rather than the rule, so I'm not overly concerned about it. The problems with Sunday are so immediate and obvious that I trust this staff and this team and the leadership on this team to get it fixed.
You lost vote before you had a shot.
And exactly. That's what I'm saying. And I don't think it's going to happen again. Now, we can get into
it happened agast Tennessee on Sunday. It was Saturday. It was the game 3 against Tennessee.
So I was going to say, I don't know if you roll again with Christian Little. I'm open to changing whatever.
So Saturday,
but you just think somebody's going to throw to contact. Don't be afraid to get hit and then let your bats go to battle. And if you lose that, then everybody's going to be fine. Nobody wants to lose walking 7,000 guys. And also, you had a weird Dylan Cruz weekend, which doesn't fucking matter. I'm not worried about it.
Saturday.
2 for his last 14, which is he's still getting on base every game, but it's just insane for what he's done this year.
Saturday was more frustrating than Sunday because you had the bases loaded 3 times, and you just the big hit.
And your big guys up, and your best guys up.
Look, I mean, you had bases loaded, nobody out, Cruz and White coming up, and Cruz strikes out and White pops out. It's like, you got to be fucking kidding me. I mean,
but again, exception rather than rule.
Exactly,
so that's why I'm not panicking.
But,
that's why I'm not panicking.
But the point is, you come through in either of those spots, you win game 2, you win the series, and then you just forget that Sunday was a shitty day. Like, that's what happened against Tennessee. You won the first 2 games. Game 3 was miserable. Like, it was the same thing. You got 6 in the first, 4 in the second. Like, it was awful. But nobody cares because you won the series. Yeah. So, like, if they had come through in just one of those situations on Saturday, you win that game, then you brush aside Sunday and it's no big deal. But because you didn't, and then Sunday went the way it did, it just sort of magnifies. But Vanderbilt lost the series to Alabama this weekend, so you're still, by percentage points, leading the SEC. And you get Mississippi State coming in. Like, you know me, I'm not the guy that ever says you should predict a sweep. Like, it's hard enough to win a series. It's damn, like, as great as this LSU team is, I mean, they swept the 2 weekends before they played, Auburn, but it's hard.
That's a good Alabama team to sweep, too.
LSU should sweep Mississippi State. Like, there is no business losing any game to that team. They are
the only thing I can't understand.
Dog shit baseball team. It's unbelievable.
And maybe this is a bit of a credit to Auburn for switching around Tommy Vale and maybe how they handled their pitching over the weekend. But I am surprised that because like Mississippi State, also an awful pitching staff. But remember, Auburn was statistically even worse than Mississippi State. So I am surprised that you couldn't touch them up more. And it's like you said, you had the weird, like you had Tommy White, Dylan Cruz, base loaded.
You had base runners, man. Yeah. It wasn't a lack of opportunities.
I think it's more of a Sunday question.
And again, Sunday you lost. Look, Sunday we forget friggin' Gavin Dugas leads the game off with a homer, man. Dude.
Like, even though he continues to kind of struggle in that leadoff, he's down to 308 now.
What do you do? Look, Gavin Dugas. So, a couple things. Number one, his shoulder is way more injured than anyone let on to. Okay, like I don't need to disclose any more than that. Just suffice to say, it wasn't a fucking bruise. All right, it's watch him play second. He can't throw the ball. Like, but you don't need him to. That's why you play second. It's the shortest throw. It's the easiest defensive position to play. It don't matter. You just need his bat. And you need him to get on base, top of the lineup. So I think seeing him at that homer was massive, because it shows how confident he is swinging again. The first weekend after he hurt his shoulder when they played Ole Miss, and he struck out 3 times. He struck out 3 times in each game.
Yeah,
his timing was completely fucked up because of his shoulder. There's no doubt about that. And you're seeing him get better and better and better. But look at his on base percentage. Like, that's all I want from a leadoff hitter.
What is it? I don't know what is it.
He's got the second highest on base percentage to only Dylan Cruz on the team.
I can look it up. You
I got it. But the point is. Like, I'm good with him there in the leadoff spot. It was a weird weekend, but you see it?
Okay, let's see. On base, 2 guys, 480. Yeah, so to your point.
Second highest behind only Dylan.
So, wow, what? That's just a solid at-bat disparity right there. But he loves getting hit by pitch.
Look at his hit by pitch.
23 hit by pitches.
And look at the walks.
29 walks.
That's the
third on the team in walks. Dylan Cruz has 51 motherfucking walks, dude. Oh, my.
That's why it's even more impressive that he's still hitting 460.
Dylan Cruz has 1,000 fielding percentage on the year.
It just means he hadn't committed an error.
No, I know. That's what I'm saying. But, like, is that, I mean, are we not impressed? The entire LSU. That's actually what concerns me more than anything, Matt. The defensive regression. Is that just who LSU is at this point, I guess? They're a bottom, they're a bottom third, like upper bottom third fielding team in the SEC?
I think they're fine. I mean, this team is a team. What's so interesting to me, the game resembles so much what it was in the 90s. It's big bats.
And I don't
homers.
recognize that. It's not what I'm used to.
You have some power arms, but you don't have deep staffs. Nobody has a staff ERA of 3. And defenses aren't great. Like, I know I looked at this last year because LSU's defense was so bad. I started looking at, like, some historical perspective on LSU's defense. And they were one of the worst defenses LSU's ever had. But, like, I look back at, like, the 93 national champions, and they fielded, like, 930. It was crazy, just
930?
I'll look it up. But it was, you
don't really need to look it up.
It was atrocious. I know where it is. I tweeted out the list. But anyway, look, Jay is going to – Paul Maneri's thing was he recruited shortstops and center fielders. He wanted elite defenders all over the field. Jay Johnson is an offensive-minded guy. He wants bats in the lineup. And if you're Braden Jobert and every now and again you overrun a ball and right against Kentucky, it fucking sucks. But you know what? I'll take the dude that hit 19 bombs in the SEC last year.
You're 9.76. Florida's right behind you at 9.74. Tennessee's right there. Vanderbilt's up there. They're second in the SEC. But, you know, Arkansas is only a few points ahead of you, 9.78. So, yeah, I mean, I guess it's essentially a wash. When you look at the teams, like Vanderbilt's the only one that would maybe have a discernible advantage.
Look at the total number of errors, which is probably a better judge than just.
Oh, okay. Well, yeah, LSU's pretty good in that department. I mean, let's see. Let me get them ranked here. Beat up by Poopady.
You know, what I mean? I guess my point is, if you have based on the total number of chances, let me look at. You know, what your...
LSU has the least amount of chances in the SEC.
It's because Paul Skeens fucking strikes everybody out.
And they're tied for 7th with Auburn, Arkansas, Texas A&M, and LSU in overall errors.
How many? And what's the disparity from 1 to 7?
37. Kentucky's first at 28. Vanderbilt has 30. So 30, 37, not that big of a difference.
You're talking about a marginal difference.
Now, Mississippi State... 59.
They are. I'm telling you, bro. They are a dog shit baseball team. They
nearly
don't pitch.
Doubling
they
up.
Don't field. I know that you say their offense is good and they got some veteran guys.
They've got Mississippi State has the most pass. I haven't said shit about Mississippi State.
Not you, just in general.
Yeah, no. Mississippi State has the most pass balls. People have tried to steal against them the most. They've stolen against teams are 60 of 73 stealing against Mississippi State. They have They've committed the most errors by far. They have the least amount of double plays, tied with LSU actually. Wow, Mississippi State is dog shit on defense. 18 pass balls.
They're a bad team. Anyway, okay, so onward. My point is,
do you think Chris Lemonis, because that's like football here. Like, they don't fuck around with that. Should he be fired? I know they're probably not going to fire him because they fired old boy instead.
So Scott Foxhall is their pitching coach who they fired a couple weeks ago, and he kind of scapegoated him, and you would think that should be enough, but man,
they're so bad. They've given up 300 earned runs. The only school. Georgia's second last at 284.
If you don't make the SEC tournament, I mean.
Oh, this is crazy because they're so bad defensively, Matt. They've given up 300 earned runs. They've given up 352 total runs. 352. And Auburn is second to last at 308. Yo, what's up? Look, we got the Don Juan girls here. Brittany and Laurel in the house, dude. Happy birthday, Brittany.
It's her birthday?
Shout out Don Juan. Yesterday was her birthday.
Hell yeah.
Shout out Don Juan. Come out, hang out with us during the season.
All right, if you're on Facebook, please like the page, like the 104.5 ESPN page, share this post. YouTube, smash that like button. We appreciate everybody who's watching with us live here. You're ready to pour this thing? Or we'll talk a little more baseball. We got to pour this. All right,
I guess we should at least try this 23-year-old apple whiskey.
Here, move that. I'll do the honors. Move that one too, please. If you don't mind.
Okay.
I'm trying to move this here so I don't muck it up. I'm kind of look at this thing. Look at this display.
It looks like you're opening a Christmas present.
All right, so look.
What did you get me?
Crown,
You got me 23-year-old Crown Apple.
Has the Crown bag. Look at that bottle.
Hey, big flex if you hide your weed in the 23-year-old Crown Apple bottle.
I'll tell you
excuse me.
The presentation is magnificent. Do we have?
I know how you feel about gimmicks.
What do you want to? Well, no, the presentation's great. What do you want to talk about something while I open this?
Yeah, Zaddy Jacques Cormier says normalize pegging, and
okay.
I agree, man. If you're into pegging,
what's pegging?
Where you have your partner strap on a dildo.
Why did I ask?
And
God damn it.
Enter you from behind.
No, come on, man.
Now, obviously, well, not obviously. I think the interesting thing is a lot of people
know that?
assume that this is a homosexual act, but I would say that assigning a sex preference based on it is, I don't think that's accurate, right?
How do you know this? That's what I want to know. How do you know what that is?
Enjoy pegging. I'm sure there's also gay people that enjoy pegging. You know, I mean, to each
that
their
has
own.
like a
If you enjoy pegging, that's completely. That's
look
up
at
to
this.
you,
This
that's
has
fine.
like a champagne color to it, doesn't it?
That would be the apple juice.
I don't think it's apple juice, but doesn't it look like champagne?
It smells like fucking apples.
Usually,
like apple skull.
Usually with whiskey, you're going to get like sort of.
Wait, where's Wiggins? Wiggins, you got it, Matt. You got to come get in on the 23-year-old golden apple with us.
Do you want some, Wiggins?
What? No,
You know
bro,
what?
you have to. What are you fucking talking about?
That's peer pressure.
You're
All right.
like, y'all are juice nerds. You can't not drink the 23-year-old apple whiskey.
So what's interesting, like again, it has more of a champagne or like a rosé color, doesn't it? I can't really. The lights are dim in here. It's hard to tell if that's like a pink, like a rosé, or if that's more of a champagne color. But it is. It usually with whiskey you'll see like dark amber colors. You know what I mean? Like from the oak, the wood. It is very sweet. It's very sweet on the nose, right? I want you to do this. Tell me what you get. All right.
Yeah.
I want you to give me a little.
Okay.
What do you get there?
Very sweet on the nose. I'm getting a little apple Jolly Rancher. Mixed with a little Crown.
Open your mouth.
It doesn't smell bad.
Open your mouth when you nose it.
I remember learning that at Dalwhinnie. Really?
What's that?
It's okay. I'm not gonna lie. It doesn't smell bad, but it does smell like apple, like kind of generic apple whiskey. Let's taste this out.
By the way, some things aren't. They're good. It is.
Wow.
It is really.
Wow.
Really.
That is elegant.
It is really syrupy.
That is. It is. The aftertaste is very syrupy.
It's very syrupy.
Very syrupy.
It almost tastes. You know what I would compare it to, Wiggins? I would compare it a lot to what? Oh, do you know what the proof is on it? I didn't look at the bottle. I don't know if it's. I don't want to take it out of this display again. And don't walk right there. You're walking.
You say it tastes like Christmas. I mean, this box looks like fucking Christmas, so it makes sense. It checks out.
Shit! I should have looked at. Well, I don't want to take the whole bottle out again. Anyway, here you go. You got it. Oh, good call. 80 proof. So it's low. It is it's Canadian whiskey. Canadian whiskey is going to be lower proof. So
great holiday drink.
That
elite
holiday
drink.
The display on that is awesome. Like they did a beautiful job with the presentation. The opportunity to sample anything that's 23 years is really cool.
Yeah, absolutely. It's like time travel.
It is very.
This
tastes like an after.
11 years younger than me. That's crazy to think
This
about.
is like an after dinner drink almost, like a brandy or something. It is.
It's a dessert.
It is thick. It is sweet. It coats your mouth. It is good. Like I'm not someone that's usually going to go drink flavored whiskey, right? Like I'm not going to drink Apple Crown or anything like that. That's not my thing.
No, but it's easily the best flavored liquor I've ever had in my entire life. Like you can tell the. Well, maybe I'm just being mind fucked here, but I feel like you can tell the.
It's good. It is good.
The quality of it. Yeah, the quality of it.
No,
It's not bad.
I don't think you're being mind fucked. You would notice because I'll tell you if it were something that were very artificial.
I mean, no burn though, and I like a little burn normally, but I would like you said, a dessert drink just to have fun with, like no burn at all.
It's 80 proof. That's
Colonel
why.
up, bro. Let's fucking go. Chilling, man. How you been, bro? Yeah, been doing well, man.
So
fuck the Colonels for beating LSU a couple weeks ago, actually, dude.
So it's 80.
Fuck the Colonels for beating LSU a couple weeks
So
ago.
it's 80 proof. So it's going to be, you're not going to get a lot of heat on it, right? It's a lower proof. And Canadian whiskey tends to be lower proof as well. The other thing you're going to notice is, like, there's a ton of viscosity. You can see how thick that is on the glass.
It's a thick boy.
You see
That's
the legs.
the syrup, yeah.
Like, that is why it is a thick, syrupy mouthfeel. It's very good, though. I don't know what it costs.
What happens if you snort it?
I don't know. Why don't you try that?
You ever snorted vodka?
No, I have not.
Ooh, shit,
I don't
Bo.
think I've ever snorted anything.
It's not
other
a good
than,
idea. You should not do
nasal
it.
spray if I was congested. That's about the extent of it.
That's a good life motto, I'd say.
We got 15 minutes left. So do you want to get to questions? Or do you want to talk more baseball? Oh, you know the one thing you did mention that we didn't talk about was what do you do on Sunday? I think you're gonna go. I think they're gonna go Gavin Guidry on Sunday. Again, I don't know this. I haven't pried to ask around. Sometimes I'll tell you, I'll tell you without telling you. I really don't know. I have not asked. But I think with Friday, this last week, the fact that they when they pulled Skeens, instead of going Herring Guidry, the fact that they went Ackenhausen Hurd in that spot, I think tells you Jay wants to use Guidry somewhere else. And I think middle relief, or now the obvious situation would be in a starting role in Game 3 is going to be that option.
Guidry has so much chutzpah and kind of like fuck you that I would like to see him like not enter in a fuck situation and like get a crack at the lineup from the jump. Has he started games this year? Am I forgetting?
He started the Southeastern game last week. In the midweek. Okay. So yeah.
I mean, to be honest, I don't watch a lot of midweek.
The weird thing about Guidry is, he comes here. He was definitely a draftable prospect. He was a signing risk. Like, he was the number 1 player in Louisiana. He's a two-way guy. He can really rake as well. Like, he's going to be your starting shortstop next year. They went through fall this year, and he did not pitch at all. And he was in a battle with Thompson for shortstop and then the other guys for second base. Well, Thompson won the shortstop job. And Gavin Dugas, to his credit, just beat Guidry, Napolt, and Merrifield and won the second base job. But he hasn't given it up. They were expecting Guidry to ultimately talent win out and be the second baseman and then next year be the shortstop. But Gavin Dugas has been awesome. So Guidry went to Jay and was like, hey, what do you think about me trying to pitch now? And so he didn't even start pitching until after the season started.
Yeah.
It's like, so he's getting back on the mound, starting to ramp up again because you had injuries and you needed something there. So they started ramping him up a little bit. And now you're at the point where he threw 65, whatever pitches it was, on Sunday. Like, he's showing you he can extend. And look, if you get to a situation in games 1 or 2 where you need him to win the game, you put him in, right?
Yeah.
But if you don't need him and you have an option in those games to win or whatever, like, then he would be my guy Game 3, I think, right now, to say, give me the ball, see if you can get me 9 outs.
So the interesting thing is, in what is Thatcher Hurd's role? Is he closer? Being your closer?
I think he's your closer. Guy? I think he's your closer.
Is he the fucking guy? After all this, are we rolling in the postseason with Thatcher Hurd being the guy? And is that a little crazy?
Thatcher Hurd, I was looking this up today, has now had 4 consecutive
good starts,
really strong outings.
I said 3 or 4 in a row this morning, and I was told it was 3. I thought it was fucking 4, dude. I thought last week, though.
The last time he went out and struggled was the midweek game they lost to ULL. And everybody kind of sucked that day. But if you look at Hurd, here you go. Here's his last 4 outings, okay? His last 4 outings after the ULL game. Against Nichols, he gave you 4 innings of 1 run, 3 hit balls, struck out 5, walked 2. Went 4 innings for you. Remember, that was the day where Coleman started and got you 3 outs.
Yeah.
Against Bama, he closed out the Sunday game or the Saturday game against Bama. The big rally against Bama on Saturday.
His first high leverage spot.
Gave you an inning and 2/3.
But actually Texas. But it's first since he started to struggle.
Gave you an inning and 2/3, slammed the door. Against Auburn, we saw him. He was 3 up, 3 down in the 9th. Strikeout, weak ground out, and it was like
awesome. It looked inevitable. You know what I'm saying?
His strikeouts were like on 3 pitches.
That's what I'm saying. It looked like I am clearly fucking better than you. Eat this shit.
And he came in the game after Ackenhausen allowed the first runner on base.
Yeah.
So he came in with a runner on. I forgot about that. And then he pitched against Northwestern State, and he struck out 5. He walked 2, but allowed 1 run, 1 hit.
The walk 2 is not ideal, but the struck out 5 does even heavy lefty. Like, that's the stuff. You only struck out 5, you got the stuff.
Even still, the walk 2 was before, like, he walked the leadoff guy. He gave up a hit, then walked a guy. And then there was the wild pitch and walked another guy on 4 pitches. And then Jay kind of went out there and settled down, and he went strikeout, and then started the second inning, strikeout, pulled him out of the game. So, like, no, I'm sorry. And then the second inning, he got 2 strikeouts and a fly out, and then in the third inning, struck out the first guy, and then they pulled him. So it was like,
because he's fucking heating up.
Once Jay went out there, was like, dude, settle the fuck down and throw the ball. And he did, and it was like, okay, he's on. So 4 straight really good outings.
If Thatcher Hurd comes on, am I crazy to think that, like, it almost feels like all your woes are cured significantly?
Here's the one other thing, and then we can do questions.
Nate Ackenhausen, by the way, still carrying a 2.25 ERA.
You're looking at season stats.
Yeah.
Okay. Look at the guy. So this is a point when people talk about, because I've heard Wes Johnson sucks, pitching staff sucks, this or that. Okay. You're looking at him. Look at the top 2 ERAs on the team besides Paul Skeens.
It's Garrett Edwards and Chase Shores.
Garrett Edwards, Shea Shores.
No, I know. They had their best guys get hurt. What are you fucking supposed to do?
Literally, your two best guys out of the bullpen. A 6'8" dude throwing 100.
Yeah.
And a 6'4" dude with a whip throwing 95 with a 1.93 ERA who didn't walk anybody.
And the thing is, you can't say it was a small sample size because they have more innings pitched for everyone save for Money, Hurd, and Little. And Riley Cooper. But like everybody else you're trying to use, Bryce Collins, Gabby, like Edwards and Shores had higher sample sizes and were great.
Look at the outings.
Yeah.
Edwards pitched 10 times.
Yeah.
Shores pitched 11. I mean, it's...
Oh, thank you.
Or 7. So, like, my point is, like, you lost your two best bullpen guys.
Yeah.
And Grant Taylor was supposed to be your number 2 starter. You lost 3 of your top fucking arms.
I know.
Like, you've had to get Gavin Guidry from not pitching at all to being a contributor.
I feel like sometimes, like, you almost have, like, I feel like with baseball, it's easy to fall into the next man up mentality where it's almost like if you put it in, like, football analogies, then people would understand better. Like, what would be the football equivalent of this? Losing, like, I mean, is it losing? No, it's not losing your quarterback. I guess that'd be like Cruz or Schemes. But I don't know, maybe losing like a Harold Perkins.
What if you lost your top 2 defensive What if you lost your top 2 cornerbacks?
Yeah.
Your 2 starting cornerbacks.
Yeah, there we go. Now we're getting there.
And instead of Jarp Bernard versus Mekhi
significantly
Garner,
worse.
Instead of Jarp Bernard versus Mekhi Garner, you're Cody Dickerson and whoever was next, right?
You're so much worse.
Like,
you're like crazy bad at that point.
I mean, it matters.
Yeah.
It matters. Like, you need innings eaters on the weekend, and the 2 guys you trusted most are gone. So, like, I get it. Everybody has injuries. But a pitching staff evolves throughout the year. That's every pitching staff ever. I used this example the other day as well. I don't know if you remember this, but in 2000, LSU won the national championship. Trey Hodges was the College World Series MVP. He was the most outstanding player of the College World Series. Trey Hodges did not have a great season. He never really found stability. They got to Omaha and boom, he was just awesome in Omaha. Was most outstanding player of the CWS. So like sometimes it's an evolution where guys find their stride. And I mean, think about 2017, man, when Caleb Gilbert, man, after the
I'll never forget the Caleb Gilbert Oregon State game.
It was incredible.
That was now granted that might have been a bit of a wider zone, and that's another reason why I'm giving kind of all these pitchers
nope.
Oh, you don't think it was the Gilbert game? Okay, that's fine.
No, this is all right. This is another thing that I've contested forever. College baseball, these are not professionals. Okay?
Yeah.
Now hold on. You watch LSU baseball, don't you, on Fridays and weekends? Okay.
Yeah, absolutely.
How many times do you see the K-Zone watching LSU baseball?
I don't want to see the K-Zone. I fucking hate the K-Zone.
How many times do you see it?
You don't see it.
Never.
Yeah.
And then you go to Omaha, and it's on ESPN, and they bring in more cameras, and you have a K-Zone.
Yeah.
And so everybody notices. But that is college baseball. Umpires are not squeezing pitchers in college baseball. So that's the thing that's why people melted with Caleb Gilbert. Like, that is a collegiate strike zone.
But it was consistent that day.
Yes.
It doesn't matter.
But
that's all I give a fuck about. Oh, you're saying that any game.
Any game. That
what
is
about
a collegiate strike zone.
What about this year? Because I feel like now there's been some weird stuff, but I feel like this year, that's what like Ben McDonald's others have been talking about, is that on top of the baseballs being juiced, so they feel like most umps are running a tighter zone.
I would have to look at every game and tell you my impression has not been that.
Okay.
Different umps will have a different zone, but my point is, for as long as I've watched college baseball, go back and watch Doug Thompson's, and I love Doug so much. He's like one of my favorite people in the world. But look at the final out. Look at the final strikeout from Doug Thompson. Of the national championship. Like, the pitch was on the dude's fucking foot. Hang on. Give me Duggar. Wait, there's Duggar. Am I going to get this? Duggar. Give me the pitch. What is this? No, of course not.
Is that Doug celebrating?
Yeah. Doug got the final out in 1997. There's Doug. Well, that's him celebrating, but that's not, damn it, that's not the final out. Anyway, whatever. My point is, Doug threw a breaking ball, and it was a ball, but they called it a strike because it's college baseball, and you give amateur pitchers a grace, and it's just how it goes. And
I want to be clear. I'm not hating on Caleb Gilbert.
I know.
Caleb Gilbert threw it to the exact same spot all night that night, or all day that day. It was awesome.
I'm not in any way saying that. I'm just saying that is an argument people make about that game, and the point that I've made. Oh, here you go. The point I made over and over and over forever is this is it. So watch. This is the final strike of the College World Series to win it.
Oh yeah, on the outside, blowing out, baby, blowing out. That's right where you want it. All right, let's get to some questions.
He kissed the bottom of the zone.
Yeah, he just painted it, dude. That's called painting corners, baby.
If I could ask Skip Bertman one question, I would ask him why he pulled Patrick Coogan in 1997. You're beating the dog piss out of Alabama. The final was 13-6. Danny Higgins homered to lead off the game. Coogan won the Warren Morris game. He won the 96 national championship game in relief. Okay?
Yeah.
And he started the 97 championship game. And LSU was like, all he had to do was finish the fifth inning, and he's going to get the win because LSU's just beating the dog piss out of Alabama. And Patrick Coogan would have been the only pitcher in the history of the College World Series to be the winning pitcher in 2 national championship games.
Oh, wow.
And Skip pulled him after like 4 2/3. I need to see what
4 2/3. That's kind of fucked.
It was in the 5th inning. I need to go see exactly what it was. Hang on.
Let's get into some questions.
Okay, go ahead.
Cajun Country. Ask Scone T. You got one game and one pitcher. You taking Aaron Nola or Paul Skeens?
Hunt asked that question. I guess he did it on his show. I would take Aaron Nola, larger sample size, and 2-time National Pitcher of the Year. Skeens is the best arm talent I've ever seen, but you give me just one outing, I'm going to go with the guy who's done it longer, more consistently. That has nothing to do with Catholic High, by the way.
He also says that I was talking about this today, Matt. Have you ever fantasized about like
Coogan went 4 1/3?
Damn, that's kind of fucked up.
And Doug went 4 2/3. So
it's a matchup thing, dude.
It was not a matchup.
It's a matchup thing.
It was at that point in the game. LSU put up a 6 spot in the first, so it was. He pulled him in the 4th. Coogan allowed 2 runs, so it was 4. It was 9-4.
Hey, 2 runs that day.
No.
Don't let the floodgates come open.
No.
And then he says, T-Bob, I was thinking about how awesome it would be carried around by a giant. You ever thought about that?
No.
Like, what if you could be a little baby and somebody just like carry you on your hip and feed you?
Hadn't thought about that.
Like, what if you had like a giant stroller that you could just roll around in? Dude, that should be awesome, man. Bilbo says, ask Scone T if you had to cheer for one NHL team, who would it be? Fucking Florida Panthers, baby. What's my Panthers score?
He said ask Scone.
Oh, okay.
Nobody cares about the Florida Panthers. I would cheer for the Mighty Ducks.
Okay, boy. 3rd period. Let's go, boys. Skates on the ice, boys. Skates on the ice. Crash the net. Let's go. Pucks on net. Pucks on net. Skates on the ice. Let's play hard here, boys. 4th quarter. Here we go. 3rd period. Here we go, boys. Let's fucking do it. 4th quarter, 3rd period. Essentially the same thing conceptually.
I would cheer for the Mighty Ducks. But I don't know why the Mighty Ducks don't wear the fucking green jerseys from the movie.
They do every now and then. It's an alternate for them, I'm pretty sure.
Why wouldn't you wear that all the time?
I don't know. Maybe it's like a weird licensing thing with Disney. I have no idea. Brambo, ask Scone T.
They're in Anaheim.
Why didn't Coach Brian Kelly mention John Emery's name when Jacques asked about running backs this season?
I don't know.
That felt disingenuous. So I don't know what that was about. It sounds like there's something deeper here than I know. What I would say is that I think at this point John Emery has unfortunately proven himself to be unavailable in a lot of senses academically. So hopefully it's not something like that.
Ooh,
but
what
we'll see.
do you think about those?
I don't know, man. I don't know about shoes. I got fucking orange sandals on, dude. You think I know about fucking shoes?
Do you like that? Do you like that color?
Yeah. I mean, I like.
I'm wearing
like
Jordan
anything.
1s. Look, I'm wearing Jordan 1 lows.
J1 lows. Brambo, ask Scone T. Or no, Raymond, ask Scone T. Julian Phillips, former 5-star, commit to LSU, is in the portal.
Look at the elephants.
Those are kind of nice.
That's the elephant print. I love them.
He says, can MM make it happen? Who's he talking about?
Matt McMahon.
Oh, okay. I was thinking Matt Moscone. I was like, huh? Julian Phillips, though, formerly committed to LSU. He's in the portal. What do you do?
Julian Phillips went to Tennessee. He was committed to LSU. Will Wade got fired. He went to Tennessee. Spent a year there. Sure. I have no idea if Matt McMahon has any tie to Julian Phillips still, or if he wants him here, whatever. What I do know is that LSU needs length and athleticism. They dramatically improved their backcourt. Carlos Stewart is a dog. The dude that they just got from Santa Clara who went to Dunham. I mean, he's a dog. Jalen Cook was the best player in Tulane's team the last 2 years. Like, they're just dramatically better there than they were this past year. It would be hard to be worse. But they do need size and length and rim protection, and so sure, you can get a forward like Julian Phillips, who was a 5-star. Yeah, please, that'd be great. I have no idea if they're recruiting him.
Roy Kent at Scone T, if LSU makes this College World Series final, do they consider letting Skeens hit in a game in game 2 or 3 if a boost is needed?
Zero chance.
Or does him not hitting all season, the pitch play, make that impossible?
Zero chance.
Yeah, I mean, why would you do that? Your bats are fine. Bill Baggins, hashtag, even though it is crazy to hear people say that he would be, like Hayden Travinski said this, that he would be a 20 home run guy.
He's a fucking giant. He's
Yeah.
6'6", 240, 250. Of
Yeah.
course, fuck. I mean, yeah. How many did he hit last year at Air Force?
Bilbo Baggins says, ask Scone T, what kind of car refueler are you? A fourth of a tank or riding on fumes? I got to have my gas alert go off. Under 50 easily, normally under 20.
Erica, as soon as the gas light goes on, she will not drive her car. She's like, would you go fill up my car? As soon as – I'm like, baby, you got like about a 50-mile grace
I'm fucking
period.
so sick of acting like it's a man's job to fill up the car. It's fucking 2023, okay? Like we're fighting for equality here, okay? Everybody can fill up the fucking gas. We don't have self-service stations down here. Put in your fucking credit card, pop it open, and fill it up, okay? Ask Scone T.
Skeens in limited action last year hit 13 home runs at Air Force.
Damn.
He'd be a 20-homer guy at LSU. If he were hitting every day, I mean.
Women's basketball next year. Who do you take, LSU or the field?
LSU.
Yeah, duh, dude. If they won with this team, then why would I take the fucking field next year?
I mean, it's
when you've added Moreau and Van Lith.
It's LSU or UConn. But if LSU had to play South Carolina this year, they'd have lost. But
yeah, but they didn't have to. Who gives a fuck?
No, I agree with you completely. Iowa did them a favor. My point is, like, they're better next year to where, like, I would take them next year over anybody. I mean, it's LSU UConn next year.
Munch. Would you start Gavin Guidry on Sunday? We kind of touched on that. Yeah.
Yes, I would. That would be my guy, yes.
Ask Scone T, would you rather see Money pitch on Sundays because you at least know he'll throw strikes? I did like how Money and Cooper know that, like, look, I'll fucking get hit around, but at least I'll try to put it across the plate.
I looked at Blake Money's season today, and he basically alternates good outing, bad outing, good outing, bad outing, good outing, bad outing. And he had a good outing last night, but he still gave up a homer. It's incredible. He's given up 6 homers this year. He just gives up a homer every time he goes out there. It's crazy.
Ask Scone T, with the sample you've had, are you taking LSU or the field to win it all in baseball?
Field.
Ask Scone.
And by the way, that would be true for literally any team, any year.
Yeah, save for LSU women's basketball.
No, baseball I'm talking.
Okay, yeah.
In baseball,
yeah.
I would take the field. It's just
too much variance. There's too much variance.
We saw Coastal Carolina win a national championship. Like
Tennessee, everything else.
We saw Fresno State win it as a 4 seed. I mean, they were literally the last team in the field. Ole Miss last year was the last at-large team to get in. Like,
baseball's too much variance. You always got to take the field. Brendan Huff asks Scone, where does Thatcher Hurd rank on Sharif's frat names?
Oh, you know what? We did that whenever.
Got to be high up
when he
there,
committed. When he committed, we did that.
Thatcher Hurd.
I need to go back and find that audio of that.
Oh yes,
Thatcher
your dad
Hurd.
owns the Ford dealership in Oxford. Yes.
Oh,
yes,
Thatcher.
Mr. Hurd. Thatcher. Well, Thatcher. Could you ask your butler to bring me a nice brandy and maybe a lit cigar? I don't know why I made him English. I guess it's more of like a Southern thing. But he's not even from the South. Is he from South? I don't know where Thatcher Hurd's from. Where's Thatcher Hurd from?
California.
Oh, really? California. I think that's it, boys.
Thatcher Hurd is from Manhattan Beach, California.
Damn. Work out, Callie.
Hey, do us a solid there.
So you never knew what you were doing all these years was called pegging? You just like stumbled into it? I mean, it makes sense, you know? I've heard that's where the male G-spot is. I think, if I was more secure in myself, I'd probably try it. So hats off to you, dude. My only question is, like, how do you train for it, right? Like,